So today is going to be a big day, guys. We are going to be moving our refined storage system into another dimension. And that dimension, like I've said, I've wanted to do this entire playthrough, is going to be a space station. Yes, the space station that is hovering over Earth. We are going to set up a way to wirelessly send our refined storage network, which is going to be the main hub, which is going to be in the space station. And we're going to send all of that information down to Earth, right? So we're going to be basically turning our refined storage system into a satellite that is in space. Yes, that means all of the crafting, all of this stuff is going to be in space. And we're still going to have a network hooked up underground here that is still going to be hooked into all of the infrastructure that we already have set up. Everything is still going to be the same. It's just that we won't have this thing right here, which looks very futuristic and spacey, which definitely doesn't match everything else. This is going to go into our space station, definitely giving us a reason to use a space station. I've said space station quite a bit. So to get this all working, we're going to be utilizing refined storage's network, receiver, and transmitter, these blocks. Now they do require some netherite, so they're not something you're probably going to have right away or be able to craft a bunch of, but at this point I definitely can handle this. Now, the way this works is you have a transmitter which sends from your network to a receiver. Which you basically place down your receiver, you shift right click your network card onto that, and then your transmitter, you put the network card in once it's connected to your system, and that will transmit a signal, even cross-dimensionally, to this receiver, including sending the network power. So whereas this is powered right here, that will send to this receiver, and everything that's connected to it will still receive power. As you can see, it tells you it's 4 blocks away, and yes, the cost does go up on this the further away it is. So at the moment this is 64 blocks because it's just existing, only 4 blocks away. But when we put it cross dimensionally, I believe it goes up a lot higher. I think it's closer to 1000 RF per tick, if I'm not mistaken. So now my plans are to do the exact opposite of what we're doing here. We're going to be moving our refined storage system into space, and then we are going to be utilizing one of these receivers down here to act as our nodes. So we'll basically be swapping these out, and this will go up into space. Now, not to confuse you or anything, but temporarily, while we are building the space station, I do need access to my refined storage there. Now, I could upgrade the card in here and put an infinite range card, but I find that to be that just removes the whole point of needing transmitters and receivers. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up my network receiver and just add myself a simple wireless transmitter with some range upgrades, and that will give me access to my grid here while I'm also in space. So all I have to do is I need to make sure this right here doesn't have a card in it. Let's go to our space station. So let's travel there real quick and hop in. We need to place this in here somewhere. So for right now, I'm going to place this right here, place this on top, put this on top of the cable, or do something really wonky with it. Place this on top of the cable. There we go. And put my range upgrades in. And then I need to make sure to shift right click that on there. We'll head back. And this is perfect because this will give us access to our network while we're there. So we'll head back and down into here. Put that in. And as you can see, it is on the Ad Astra Earth orbit dimension. And yes, oh wait, it's only costing us 64 even with that. Oh wow, I thought that was going to be way more expensive on power, but it doesn't seem. Oh, it might be because it's not on. Now the thing is we need to make sure that our dimension here is chunk loaded. So back on the space station, what we can do is just currently highlight our space station, which is kind of awesome. It's like literally in the perfect 4 chunks. And then we'll just make sure that we force load those chunks. But good thing is as you can see here, we're ready to go. We're ready to turn this into an actual space station that is going to house all of our refined storage stuff and not be as wonky as this build. I'm definitely going to be changing this build entirely. Not even going to look the same when I'm done with it. Now, essentially, I'm going to be tearing this thing apart. And I need to find sort of a central location. And I think the center of this is right here. Like, I don't mind this, but it is not going to be big enough for the projects that I have at hand. So if I find the center, which is going to be right down here, it seems like, go through the glass, and it is actually this platform right here. So if I get rid of the ladders, get rid of all of this stuff, this will sort of be the starting point. I love how the sound is really dampened in this dimension. Very interesting. Yeah, like all of this has got to go. All of the glass, everything that's in this dimension, I am going to be ripping out of this place. So, yeah, you can kiss this stuff goodbye. All right, so I know it looks a little strange right now, but I'm using this as a reference. So all of these blocks right here, these steel blocks, I'm going to be utilizing this right here specifically as a reference for the central point of our build. So right here is the center, the very most middle. Now this outer ring is probably going to be removed, but this actually might be the initial size of our platform here, like the actual middle platform. And I plan on using a couple of mods to really help in the building process that we have going on here. So let me go ahead and toss some of these things in our bag. I need to grab this. Make sure to silk touch that, because this is going to be very important, because if this is the center, then for right now, I am going to use this as our space station location. I can leave this down here. That's actually not that important until later. So that's just allowing me to access my system. So what do I have planned to do with this? Well, I kind of have a reference image of a sort of space-y station. Kind of looks villainish, but I want to try and go with that. So what it is it's sort of a space platform such as this, right? And then on the outer edge is a huge ring that goes along the outer edge. And then these really cool looking protruding spikes that are on them. So I'm going to be trying to do that. However, I don't think I can get away with building with these Astra blocks, because look at how expensive they are to make these platings. And I would prefer to use vanilla blocks for this. Now, there's a couple of machines I need to get set up before I start building, because I've come up with a block palette that I really like. So for the space stuff, I think this is going to be perfect. So right here, we have a couple of blocks that we can make infinite amounts of. Now, some of them not so easy to make. Let's see, and then stone over here. So these are some really nice blocks, I think, that are going to really accent the space station once I start building it. However, I don't want to have to go mining for all of these. So I've already automated smooth stone. I've converted one of these into just processing that and making this block. As you can see over here, there's already 443 of them. But I need to make deep slate and black stone, which are something that I don't have. Now, this one I'm going to have to technically farm for. I think this will be more of an accent block, the tough there. But I can actually make 3 different things with the Ignis extruder that we are currently not producing. Now, I was trying to figure out where exactly do I want these producing. These are kind of ugly in their own right because you have to place things next to them. So I was thinking what I can do is I can just place them right here. I know 2 of them can probably be right next to each other and share the same lava source. So you can see right here, to produce this, it needs soul soil underneath, blue ice right here on the side, and lava on the left side, or whatever side adjacent. So we can utilize the same lava for this. So I can have lava in this, and this will produce black stone and basalt. And then to produce deep slate, just regular deep slate. I don't know if I should produce the cobble version or the smooth. Probably the cobbled version. It just requires some packed ice and lava. So 3 machines that I should be able to easily just get set up right over here. So as you can see, this is pretty easy to set up. One side over here is going to be lava. This one is going to receive packed ice, and this is going to make cobbled deep slate. Very simple. And this receives that. And underneath this block is, as you can see right here, a soul soil block that's producing basalt. This is producing blackstone, and it produces it really fast, by the way. And all I have to do is make myself 3 drawers, and I'm going to hook up some pipes back here. And some item pipes, which I already have access to. Pop those into that. And we'll get this all hooked in. Like this is all going to be running along the same line directly into the back of some drawers. And then of course, to get this recognized by the network, I just need my functional storage card and make sure that we add it to our network. And there we go. So we have them all ready to go. I do need to lock the drawers. So when I'm building, I don't pull too much out and we ended up getting 2 sets of black stone or something like that. But there we go. Perfect. And they're nice and hidden out of the way. You never even know they were there. So I'm getting ready to get the platform basically built out. And I am going to be using re-chisel for this. And I think this is going to be a pretty sick looking floor once I get everything in place. Of course, I do need my, I think wands. So there's a difference between using wands and the building gadget. Like wands sometimes are just a lot more convenient than using building gadgets. But look at how this floor turns out. This is so cool looking. Like this is a really nice floor, especially once we get some designs into it. And it's going to allow me to remove this and get prepared to utilize the builder. Yes, that we're going to be actually using the builder to build. And I think it's perfect for space stations. Definitely. Whenever I want these circular designs and I want multiple rings of circles, the builder is honestly the best tool for that job. So I'm currently working on the centermost portion, and I went with this design because it reminds me of sort of a aircraft or a spaceship. As you can see, the sort of just shape of this is sort of like an aircraft. And I'm going to be clearing it out because I want this middle piece to be open so that way it can be glass and we can actually look down. Because I find that that is very important to this. And so it's going to be glass. It's going to be functional throughout this entire build. But I definitely want to make it a point that I can see down and be able to know that I am in space. This is like really, really cool. So I'm about to utilize the builder. And now this is going to be the main hub. And then there's going to be a ring on the outside. And then there's going to be a huge ring on the outside of that. And so I do need a starting point so I know kind of how big that's going to be. And so I'm going to use the builder to do that. This is actually pretty interesting. So at the moment, this is quite a large circle, but I can go ahead and I can say, let's make a 33 by 33. Set this to cylinder. I think cylinder is fine. Make sure this is 1, which is going to be flat. And we can leave it hollow. That is just fine. And now when we put it inside here, I should be able to specify and see what this is going to look like. And there we go. So as you can see, this is almost the identical shape that our current one is. It's about 33 by 33. So I'd say this is a 31 by 31, somewhere close to that. Now, of course, we're going to need that much larger. So to do that, I can click into here. And I should be able to say, I don't know, let's go 45, 45, and 1. Ignore the offset for now. You have to reset the offset every time in the machine because there's a weird bug with it. Every time you leave out of the machine, the offset changes. So there's this. Okay. So this is a good starting point. But I'm thinking it's going to need to be a bit different than this. I think this is going to actually need to be out a bit more, or this could be the actual starting point for how big this is going to be, but I might just actually make a sphere with this tool, or not a sphere, a torus. So let's move this back even further. Of course, clear this out. Let's do 55, 55, and we'll do 0 here just so it's completely level. And it's not wanting to show me what 55, 55 looks like. For whatever reason, I have no idea. 55, 55, 0 those out. Maybe it's because the offset needs to be at least 1. Okay, so it's just not going to show me. So I guess I hope that this looks good at this size. Okay, that's going to be horrifying to not be able to see. But we can go to, let's see, that was cylinder. We might want to do, let's see, torus. And then make sure this is cleared out. And then this, I want to be, well, we can try 9, but I don't think that's going to be big enough. Ah, and this will show. Now this is more like it. This is what I'm looking for. Now, is 9 on the inside going to be enough? Well, we can kind of stand in here to see. And I think this is going to be plenty large enough. And you know what? This is going to be perfect because we'll have the gates right here, the pressurized gates that lead into this. Of course, this is going to have to go up 2 blocks, I think. Oh, this is going to be so cool. Okay, let's pull this out and we will specify, we'll clear this out and we'll say 2 on the offset to go up 2. And is this going to work? Is this going to be level? I actually might need to do just 1, up 1. Because this is going to be where the actual housing is going to be at. You know what? I have to do just up 1. Up 1, I think is fine. So clear this out. And 1. Guarantee that's going to be perfect. Ah, and it is perfect. Awesome. Yeah, because I want an airlock to be right here and also have an airlock right here. And we're going to be able to walk directly into this and have plenty of headspace. So this is what I'm going to use to set up my first torus, right? This is going to be my first ring around our big dome that we're going to have here that is going to be housing some stuff. But yeah, and then on the outside, of course, there's going to be even more. So like I'm super hyped for this because I, in my mind, know what I'm building. Of course, you're just going to have to wait and find out, I guess. So let's get to building this. Now, the material I'm probably going to be building this out of is going to be a mix of materials, but for right now, we're just going to use a single material because I'm going to use the exchanging gadget to change it. So stone is going to be what it's going to be initially set to, I think. Or we can use cobble, actually. Cobble will be fine. We have plenty of cobble. I just need something that has enough material because I'm still letting things build up. Okay, so all I got to do is turn this off and then put a lever on, check my stats again, making sure everything's good. And then, of course, we have the cobble in here. That's not going to be enough, but as soon as we turn this on, it's going to start building it. How awesome is that? Look at this. Look at this getting done. Okay, so it has finished this side. Still need a bit more cobble, so I'm going to grab even more cobble here. Put that inside the chest. It's going to continue the rest of the build where it had left off. And we have the start of our first spaceship. I mean, this is, or it's not really a spaceship, satellite or a space station, I guess you can say, because there's actually going to be utility happening here. I'm going to be able to move from place to place. All right, it says not enough power. For some reason, our power is empty. Well, that's not good. Oh my gosh, my goofy self forgot to select the network for the power. But we don't really need it because it's done now. Now, this was just one subsection, right? Now, I need another one that's going to be even further out. And so I guess I can go ahead and get that one done, right? Now, yeah, I think this is done building, right? Yep, there we go. So it's completely done. Now I need to go ahead and change this up. So at the moment we have 55. I want this to be a lot further out. And so 55, I don't think is going to cut it. We're going to be looking at like 87, kind of. Let's see if it will show us 87. That's not even far enough. I need it to be a bit further out than that. And I do want it smaller because this isn't necessarily going to be like a place where I'm going to be standing on. So 9 is probably not good. I'm thinking more like 3 or 5. 5 might be better. Let's try 127. Maybe that'll be big enough. I hope it previews this. Oh, that's probably too large. Too large, but I do like the size of the ring. The ring is like perfect size. The distance out there, not good. Not good. Okay, let's try one more. And let's do like 105. And I'm using odd numbers because that'll make sure we don't have an even grid. That's more reasonable. Yep. I think this is good. This is where I want it. This is perfect. Okay. So I can actually just go ahead and start building this as well. And there you go. It's going to start building the outer ring. And of course, we are going to be transferring all of this, and there's still manual building I have to do because I have to link this to this with sort of these arms that are going to kind of curve out to reach to it. And then I have these plans for this spire that sort of goes up and curves a little bit that I want to probably use the copy paste gadget for. You know, this looks really cool when it actually runs out of material. I don't know, maybe we can interrupt this and kind of create that like interstellar sort of look. I don't know, that's a possibility. So I've been sort of building everything out of cobble. I know it's completely ugly right now. Just ignore it. Things are going to be working out soon, I promise. But yeah, I need to get the bay sort of worked out. So this is going to be sort of the cylinders that are going to connect to these hallways here. And so this is going to be open. Man, my oxygen surprisingly lasts a long time inside this suit because I've been working on this for a good while now. But yeah, I need to get all of these connected, and I got the outer ring, and I'm working on getting the sort of outer plate that is going to be connected to this outer ring here connected. And then the goal is to have this sort of thing right here. So if I place that block, there's going to be this sort of expanse, and if I actually make this where it looks good right now, let's see, let's make that curve a little bit more. We go up, and there needs to be a really harsh sort of turn here. But yeah, if I can get this sort of figured out and how exactly I'm going to do that, I have no idea how I'm going to make a really nice looking turn, but yeah, that actually might look pretty good, especially once I fill in around it. Let's get rid of this up top. There needs to be something more, maybe down here. That, and then that. Actually, let's just leave it like this, like sort of a thing pointing up in the sky. But yeah, I'll figure this out. I'll get this out. But there's going to be this on the bottom and the top. Not going to be as big on the bottom. But yeah, it's working out. Look at this. This is coming together. I definitely have a lot more of this like sort of intricate getting these things together. And then I get to color and design this thing with our block palette. And while I've been building this whole thing, all of our blocks have been generating. Oh boy, the wings are coming together so good. I guess you can call them wings. I really don't know what these are. But I'm going to be using the copy, or the builder's gadget, the copy paste gadget, to actually move these and copy and paste them elsewhere. So let's put this in copy mode. I'm going to be selecting this side, and then actually we've got to select this side right here. So this connector piece, and then I need to get this all the way out here, the way it's wide enough to connect to this piece, and then shift click. Now I am going to be removing this. And the weird part with the builder is if you place any of these extra blocks, it does make it a little harder because there's not like a recopy button. Okay, so tool mode is in copy, and right click. I'm assuming that copied it. And then when we put it in paste mode, here's where things are a little wonky, right? So you can see that if I paste this, right, it's going to paste there. Of course, you can undo. But knowing where this is going to paste is pretty important, right? So what I want to do is I want to center this on this block, and hopefully I can do that. You can hold shift and right click, and what I should be able to do is potentially move this whole setup. I know 16 blocks is probably not going to work, but I need to change this in this direction. I think it's really hard to see where this is located at. Let's try here. Maybe I can see it a little better. See, I need this to be sort of centered as best as possible. I think that is centered. Actually, it needs to go, I think, one more block over. Now that is perfectly in the center. Now, unfortunately, I can't make the adjustment any further than 16 blocks. So that means that I'm going to have to stick with what I have. I think 16's fine. We confirm that placement. I just need to build out from this block. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be able to do this. Now, I'm going to rotate this. I don't quite know what direction this is going to rotate. I'm assuming it went over here. So let's try over here. So right in the middle of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And grab some cobble, because it does take a lot of cobble for this. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and, well, because I have this top piece here that I kind of want to copy onto it as well. Let's try this again. Let's recopy. Let me switch back. I need to rotate this. Actually, I think we can just go back to copy mode. There's the copy. I want to raise the copy. So we can click the open GUI here, and let's set this to use absolute chords. And I believe if we confirm that, maybe not. There we go. That went lower. There we go. Confirm. And I believe this is copying the upper blocks as well. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Okay, good. So make sure that's copied. And then we go back to the paste mode. Okay, GG. There we go. And yes, I believe 5 blocks out. Let's go ahead and get the rotation on this. It is a little finicky, especially with big things, but I can tell you it is going to be so nice when this works. Now, this block needs to be 1 lower. It seems like. So we're 5 blocks out. And just to make sure, I can anchor this into place. And then I can go look and see, all right, is this in the right location? And I actually don't think that we are centered here. Somehow we managed to be off center. So let's go ahead and try this, confirm, and we can paste and see if all is well. Is it the same as this side? I believe it is. Okay, perfect. So I just need to apply this to the same side. It seems like it is 5 blocks off the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, when we place this block, all I got to do is unanchor, rotate. And this time it rotated differently. So I'm going to have to adjust here. And we got to go in the opposite direction. So there we go. Confirm. And then that should paste. Everything looks golden. And then one more rotation. That's going to be on this side. So much work, but I tell you, it's so much better than having to build this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's so much easier. Did I make the rotation? Actually, I did make the rotation. It's just this one is so far off. Every time you rotate, it is so far off. You have to kind of get this to line up. And then I think that's good. And there we go. Perfect. That's the building gadget, or I guess you should say the copy paste gadget. Now, here's just a few building tips because I'm working on the interior floor here. And I'm utilizing the wand. And of course, if you've ever held down shift and scrolled with the wand, you'll notice there's a few options, right? And one of the options that I don't want is the default here, because if I go to place this, right? Watch what happens. Oh yeah, you're like, oh man, I didn't want that to place all these blocks. And of course, there's actually an undo button as well. You just have to set it up in the configs for this one. There's an undo button. But to fix this, we're going to go to left and right. And now I won't have that problem anymore. So long as I'm setting to left and right, you can see right here, I went right up against that wall and it made it so much easier to get this floor in because I don't want to expand the walls. So now for the fun part. Yes, that is going to be decorating everything. And I know the roof is open, but this will all be a enclosed system here soon. And we'll even be able to get oxygen to support this. So we actually won't need any sort of oxygen while we're here. I do want the roof and the floor at the bottom. I'm going to want that to be glass. And there's actually going to be a lot of glass incorporated into this. Around these hallways and corridors, I definitely want glass in the floor. So that way we still know, even when we're in the hallways, that we're in the sky. So I'm going to be using the exchanging gadget. And these floors, for the most part, if I go ahead and set this up and I set the range higher, this is all going to be transformed into blackstone. I want the majority of the floors to be this blackstone texture. Now, the outer walls, we have a lot of tools at our disposal, especially with this building gadget, right? To be able to change, for example, the roof here, I can make that glass. These outer walls are going to have patterns in them. So, for example, let me go ahead and put all of this in here and this stone, right? And I'm kind of thinking on the outer trim, this sort of trim piece out here, I want this to be darker, right? I want this and this middle ring to be its own color. let's make that middle ring white, like quartz. Let's do quartz blocks on the middle ring. I think that would be fantastic, right? So let me go ahead and place down a block. I'll copy this. And the tools that I have with the building gadget are really cool. I can go ahead and set this to horizontal column mode. And I can just go through here and click. And as you can see, it's going to specifically focus on it being a column on its side. So a horizontal column, and I can go around here and change all these blocks that are connected. And that just saves so much time with building. Like, I can build everything on a cobblestone, like you see, and then make this thing look really good after the fact. So at the moment, I've got a lot of detail gone into this. Yes, some things have transpired. I'm actually chilling out on my Discord while I'm streaming the build process of this, the full thing over there, hanging out in public voice chat. But as you can see, things are getting a little bit more detailed and a little bit more intricate. I have changed things up. I went with this deep slate tile block that I've been just exchanging everything with. And it's going to look so much better once I get all of the finishing touches on here. And right now I'm adding the trim, which is these quartz slabs, which I think look phenomenal, by the way. But yeah, all of this is going to lead up. And then the interior is going to have some really cool lights. Thanks to Flanks, who makes Simply Lights. And that's going to be fantastic once we get that all futuristic-y lined up in here. So I'm currently doing the fun part and lining out this interior. And I was thinking, if I'm going to actually utilize this interior in any way, how am I going to actually get cables and stuff routed? And I think if I do anything automation wise in this base, I think XNet is of course the solution, because it can be facaded and looks so good in the walls, where you can have like a machine in the walls and the facades are seamless. Of course, same with facades. Refined storage is going to be perfect for this, because if I go to facade, it's just going to fit, right? It's going to fit right in. Maybe not exactly with these textures, what is it, seamless textures, but yeah, we'll see how this works. But right now, I am hand placing in all of the glass. Still don't know if I'm going to put it in the roof, but definitely down below, it's definitely going to fit. So I have now successfully finished, I would say, the majority of this. I have all of the dark glass in, and you may be thinking, Chosen, it's awfully dark in here, and you would be right. It is very, very dark. So let's get some Simply Lights placed in. Now, this mod has tons of awesome lighting, and some of the first little bits of lighting that I would love to put in here are these edge lights. This is really going to liven this thing up. So if I put these edge lights in, let's say we might be able to put them on the bottom. I think that would look really cool, right? So I can just edge this entire thing just like this, and we would have this really, really cool effect. But I don't think I want to use these particular lights all over the place. Instead, there are light fixtures, and these are much more realistic. As you can see, I can place them all throughout, and it gives this really nice glow. And same goes for the other side. So yeah, that way we still have some like dynamic lighting going on. Now down here, this is filled in completely with dark glass. So we have two layers here. So technically the light will not protrude through this tinted glass, but I was thinking of using the edge lighting down here. So this would be the perfect place, I think, for some edge lighting. Probably like along this. Yeah, this is going to be like perfect. So that way it's sort of like something that we can kind of look at and see down below. It just gives us even more of a futuristic vibe. So I think at this point, if we take a look at everything, I don't have all of the lighting inside the hallways just yet, like inside here. Definitely going to get that worked out. Maybe put them all along here, something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of work still left to do as far as lighting goes, but I built this pillar out. Still not 100% satisfied with it, but this is where the refined storage is actually going to go. So let's go ahead and head back to the base, and we've got to get everything sort of turned around, actually. Like, this needs to be turned around. We have all of our fluids and all of our drives and everything that's got to go with us. Let's toss this in here. Let's see. You can go ahead and put this all inside here. There we go. We have all of our drives, everything we need. Controller. What else am I going to be missing? I guess as of right now, this is fine. We do need to take this with us though. And we're going to be exchanging everything. So, right now, I think all we have is our power, so we should be pretty good. So we'll head to our space station, which is looking so good, by the way. And we'll place our power up here, right here. Controller, right? And we don't have to see the controller. But we're going to need our pattern grid. Right now, we can hook up a crafting grid. I actually need a cable. And the thing is I've got to hook this back in before I can get that going. So let's get our network transmitter. Actually, we got to get our drives. Let's just get our drive hooked in so I can grab out some cables. And then we'll get this going. So cable. Perfect. Break this again. And then we will get this put to work, right? Because we want one of these sides to be like different crafting terminals and things like that. All right. So on the outside, I can put a disk drive right here and a disk drive here. Ooh, this sort of matches. Like, I really like how good this is going to actually fit in. And then we have like one of these needs a fluid, needs to be set into fluid mode. And then we need to make sure this is set to items going in there. Everything's good. Pattern grid. We can put this over here next to the fluid if we want. Just like this. Our cables are going to go in here. And then our network transmitter is going to go right here. And so all we got to do is place down our cable. That is linked, as you can see. And so now we just need our receiver, and we should be good. And then put our regular crafting grid right into there. Get our blocks. Things are looking pretty good. It's going to look really good once we have all of our grids and everything in here. And we have our storage set up. So now with this, let's head back. We got to grab our receiver that's down here. So I'm going to have to break a couple of blocks to do this. There we go. And let's grab these blocks. These are important. We're going to set these back up later. And then I should be able to enclose this back in. There we go. Perfect. This is just a beautiful little location. All right, head back. And now just where we had all of this, I still need to get my crafters and stuff moved, but for right now, I'll leave them where they lie. So what we can really do is I can hide all this, or I can probably just place it right here. I'll place the network receiver down in here. Perfect. We need to move this. That is going to have to go down here as well. This is the advanced. Put the advanced down onto this cable so we can access our grid. Perfect. And put the range of grids in there, 3,000 blocks. Awesome. So all we got to do is copy our network. And this is about to get crazy because our network is going to be in space and we are going to be on the ground. This is pretty epic. I'm happy with this. And there we go. Network card in. And back on space, or back at our base, we should be able to access everything. Now I don't have a wireless in here, but I could very easily, I think, set up a wireless that's connected to the side and have the cable facaded potentially. Or I could drop it and actually have a cable down here. I wonder if they fixed it so that way you can have this on the bottom of a cable. Because before it was broken where you couldn't have it on the bottom of a cable, but I think now you can. And no network found. So it's still set up so that way it doesn't work on the bottom. Oh wait, maybe I actually need to change where my controller location is. That's probably the problem. Controller. Boop. No, it does work on the bottom of the cable. Oh, that is fantastic. Okay, well that just really saves. That's just icing on the cake right there. And look at that. Everything's in. And now when we head back, we still have access. Or we should. There's no wireless transmitter in range. We should. This is hooked up. Oh, this cable is missing. So let's pop that in. And there we go. And we still have the same access as if this whole network here was still here. Yep, and I can add my crafters back there on the space station, and everything should be good after that. Now for the final touch, and that is the sliding doors. Oh man, I was waiting for this. These are gonna go in. I don't know if they would look better right here. No, I mean, I kind of like them right there. I kind of like them right there on the that part. Oh, that looks so sick. Now I wonder if I could. I almost wonder, is there a way that I could make these, I don't know, fit in better with the surroundings? Probably not. Probably not too well. I would have to completely change this whole design. And yeah, this opens. It doesn't auto close, so you would have to close it, but it is pretty sick that this exists. Now I think what I'm going to end up doing eventually is getting the oxygen set up in here. Of course, that is going to be something that we work on, but yeah, for right now, this is the way it is. I think maybe adding the gap here in the floor probably make this feel a little bit better, having that there. So it's a definitely solid, doesn't look like there's a piece of floating glass. But yeah, man, this is what it's all about. Now, I will take a nice view from the top real quick. Let's go ahead and pop a hole in the ceiling real quick. And look at this. Now, I'm not done with the pyre, the like little spires that go on here. And apparently I was told that this looks like one of the builds, or one of the ships from Star Trek. Interesting. Not too familiar, but I'm enjoying it. I really like the space station. It looks sick from the map. Like, this looks fantastic from up above. And I'm excited to see what comes of this. And the fact that we can get our automation fit in here is really, really nice. So what do you guys think of this build? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments section below. I would really, really appreciate that. But of course, guys, it's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, I would like to thank the supporter of today's video. And that huge thanks, guys, is going to go to Rise Tragedy. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member. I really do appreciate you guys. And of course, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you got something out of this, maybe learned a couple of building tricks along the way. And I am super excited to now have this as our refined storage area. Guys, of course, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment something down below, whether you hated or enjoyed it. I would love to be potentially roasted. Maybe you guys will say something bad about this build. I don't know, or something good. I don't know. I'll love it either way. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.